Welcome back to the bonus stage on GameSpot E3 Day 2. As you can tell, my voice is starting to go. We got 2 left to go today, but with me are Josh and Rick Gomez. Josh, you may recognize, although he's considerably hairier than last time I met him. You may recognize from Chuck. Rick, his brother, who we were just discussing, was a mean cop in Transformers.
Yes, I was that.
Although I was rather hoping you had been a Transformer. That would have been much more
fun. We were talking about that if I were a Transformer, I would have been like maybe a speedboat.
Speedy, just a speedboat?
That turns into a robot.
Fantastic.
Speedy.
But you've also done, I mean, contextually within E3, you've done a lot of voice work for games, right?
Yeah. I did. I played Zack on the Final Fantasy stuff. And we did Call of Duty.
What's a little taste of Zack? How does Zack go?
Oh man, I don't even. Hey, what's going on, man?
No.
Yeah, something like that. I forget, man. I do remember having to match the Japanese, timing's already done. The mouth.
Also, you have to
kind of fit it in, yeah. And then you have a Japanese director, and they're all really wonderful, talented people, but there's just the gap between the Japanese translation and the American, what you're doing. So it'd be like, you've done these before.
Yeah, we did the Final Fantasy together.
Yeah,
you were in Final Fantasy as well?
10-2 or
10-2?
whatever it was, yeah.
What was that? Barreleye and Gipple and Barreleye.
Yeah.
And so, but for this one, it was like, it was a bunch of days of kind of going like, if I dip my sword into the magic apple well, I don't know, what the heck, like, what does that mean? And I would go, how do you, and he's like, it means a lot.
Reading my diary.
The Japanese translation.
Were you being like the actor, and you're like, what's my motivation here?
I was trying to figure out what the heck it meant so I could say it right. And eventually they wound up tweaking it a little bit. Some of the translations, John, didn't match up to what really, how we speak.
You had to squeeze a lot of talk into a small space.
And then the lips
There's
would just
also
go.
a lot of, I always notice there's a lot of difference between Western and Eastern voice acting.
Yes.
There's a lot of breath, a lot of breathing.
Yeah.
Right? So
like even if they just go up a stair.
Even if it was just,
oh, right.
You're always.
Yeah, it's very emotive.
It's very.
So like in a sword fight, we would go, right? And they would go,
You're poisoned now. You're.
See, it makes me cough just doing it.
I'm sorry to even.
Don't even. I'll go in a fetal position.
So it's fun then.
It is fun.
So you're in Call of Duty as well, you said?
Call of Duty, we did voices for. I did a voice for BioShock, which was really awesome.
Oh, cool.
I love BioShock.
Yeah.
And that's one of those other ones where you realize it's such a fun job because unlike being on camera, you show up just disgusting and bearded and you don't have to worry about anything. You go into a booth.
Kind of like this.
And, but I remember for BioShock, it was like, okay, so basically you have a series of things that's gonna happen to your character. Okay, let's rattle them off. Ready? You're getting electrocuted. So you scream like you're being electrocuted.
Right.
Attacked by a swarm of bees. And you do the whole swarm of bees. Like, that's a lot like being electrocuted, Josh.
Yeah, we got to change it up.
Like
That's a same thing.
Bees, though. I'm like,
it's bees.
It's all painful, though, right? I mean, it's a very surreal experience. You're in a booth and you're swatting.
We're gonna bring some bees in.
Yeah, you know what?
We're gonna actually just 4 bees. Just 4 bees,
it's good,
so that
but it's not great.
It's not great. We did the same thing with Call of Duty though, because you have to do like over there by the haystack. You do that 3 times.
Yeah, sniper.
And then
high right window.
Not that haystack. That haystack.
yeah. Right.
The in-game reprimanding of the player.
I love it.
You moron! That's not the place to hide. That's the place to hide.
I love voice work though. It's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So much better.
Is it good work sort of between other gigs, or is it
Yeah.
But I think especially being a fan and being a gamer and doing all that stuff, it's like, it's such a cool. I love it. I love that world. And I've said this before, but my friends get a bigger kick out of that stuff than they do hey, I got a network show that I'm on now. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
What games are you in?
Right,
it's like,
right.
That's my friends.
Right.
So you're a big part of, particularly in the early seasons of Chuck.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were really. I mean, the reason it was so authentic is you guys are really into it. I mean, Halo and Call of Duty. Call of Duty was referenced a lot in the first season, right?
Yeah.
And that wasn't.
And Gears, we played Gears. I remember we played Gears in the pilot.
Yeah.
That was a cool thing for me.
And that wasn't them saying we want to be in a show. That was you guys driving that, right?
Partially, yeah. It was. They knew Zach and I were game. In fact, that was the whole thing. We were like, Zach and I would kind of not demand, but we would request to be able to play the game for real in the show, because, as you know, what they do is they make these like pre-rendered loops. Obviously, so it could be the same thing over and over again on multiple takes. But we're gamers, you know. So we're like, we can do this. You know, we can mimic what we have to do. We can do it again. You know, and they're like,
we're gonna do the loop. Yeah. We don't want to be here all day.
But it's a weird thing it is the weirdest thing to, like, you know, a guy playing a fake video game on a camera every time you know what I mean?
Oh,
When you're
yeah.
like, you know, and we hate it because even as a gamer, it still feels fake. You're going, hey, so what do you know? You're overly gesticulating, you know what I mean? Doing the fake daddy leg kick. You know? My father plays games and stuff. Oh, it's like, you know, just sit still. Just calm down.
He was a pioneer of the daddy kick. He's the original daddy kick.
But yeah, the show. That was one of the. It was one of the things that really helped get us. I think our following was the Chuck and Morgan characters being gamers and having those games. They're referencing a lot of those games.
Yeah. So you've been here pretty much all day today.
Yeah.
You've had a chance to geek out a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
So what have you seen that you liked?
Well.
You haven't gotten a chance to see a ton of stuff.
I haven't seen everything.
What did you see?
No.
Right.
But
The Wii U.
I got to finally get hands on with the Wii U, which was cool.
Is that gonna be a Christmas present for the boys?
It'll probably be
You think so?
A Christmas present.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
Could be. It's on the list.
New Mario Brothers game is very cool.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge, like, I love downloadable games right now, you know, so, like, I think they're, like, XBLA and everything like that. I look forward to those games sometimes more than the real big releases.
Yeah.
And Deadlight, you know, have you seen that game? It's sort of, like a very cool 2D, kind of reminds me of, like, Flashback or Shadow Complex.
Oh, nice.
That's one you were just talking about, yeah.
Right. But very atmospheric and zombies, but you know, that cool mechanic, you know, that Flashback.
Oh god, yeah.
Out of This
Flashback was
World,
so
you know,
good, yeah.
so,
Out of This World
Out
is
of This
great.
World, remember? Yeah.
Love that.
Did you check out Halo yet? No, you're a fan.
Didn't get to, I am. I didn't get to actually see the full theater presentation, but I watched some trailers online already on GameSpot.
Excellent.
We got
Good.
two GameSpot email hits there yesterday from Josh to me
Yeah, see?
for Beyond.
Oh,
That was the
Beyond, you were
GameSpot
impressed
clip.
with that?
Yeah. And why am I blanking on it?
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs.
Oh,
I
Watch
was like, hey, you
Dogs
gotta
looks
check out this
so
trailer.
cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool trailer. I don't, you know, again,
But I'm telling you, with the thing with Watch Dogs is, it's rare that you watch the trailer for the thing, right? And they'll show you the sort of the trailer,
Yeah.
the produced trailer. But you're in game watching someone else play,
Yeah.
obviously, and I was fascinated.
Yeah.
Fascinated. Like, it's one of those. If he's playing it, then you can say, like, no, come on, dude, what was that? You go around the car and come on, right? So the person who's playing it actually knows the game,
Right.
but it makes it look like God, like it's cell phones turn off, this goes on. You're like, what the hell?
And it
is
was,
going
I mean,
on?
a lot of the buzz came from the fact that it was a genuine surprise. Like, so much
Yeah.
of the stuff, people are like, okay, well, we know that this is coming and that's coming,
Right.
and they'd guessed.
Right.
But Beyond was, people knew the name before it,
Yeah.
but Watch Dogs was a total surprise. Like, no one had any idea.
New IP, right?
Yeah.
Not a sequel, not a, so it was like, and new IP that really got a lot of attention, and which is great, you know. And you know, I'm not. I mean, open world games like that too. Sometimes I can get sort of, I don't know. It could be hit or miss sometimes. Sometimes they're amazing. Sometimes I can get a little like, whoa. There's no, because it's so open. You kind of lose a narrative
Story.
or direction.
Right.
That's what I loved about this. The other thing I saw that I loved was just, again, from an acting standpoint in a weird way, and I didn't get to talk to you about this, but when those two characters come up in the bar, the guy with the main character,
Yeah.
or the protagonist or whatever, and that dude comes up to him, he does these things that, like, they now can do with digital actors, whether through mocap.
And, well,
and
they're
what
doing it. Yeah, man, it's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing.
Because-
it's nuance.
Because I got him being sarcastic. I got him
yeah.
being subtle. I
Yeah.
got all these weird little dirty.
But even Ellen
these
Page stuff
subtle-
and beyond, man,
Yeah.
she does some small eye stuff that they're finally getting. The weird thing is, like, I don't know, there's always been that thing about CG where if you push it too far to be like human, there's something that our brain shuts off about that.
Yeah.
And if you do it just a shade to the other side so we can sort of enjoy the CG-ness of it,
Yeah.
it really, we embrace it and go, and then it's just about the nuances. Then it's just about...
I think that's what that was about, because a lot of people were like, oh, they made a big deal about getting Ellen Page, and then they showed a scene where she didn't say anything. But I think a lot of it was was that she was doing stuff by sitting still.
That's
and
it. That's the cool thing.
There was a tension.
Right.
You could tell from her body language that something was going to happen. You didn't need to see
and
the coffee cup rattle to know
things.
that something was going to happen. She was either going to explode into something or something was going to happen with her because of the way she was holding herself.
That's right, and even when you watch a television show or a movie or whatever, you know, when an actor is sitting there and that's that tense moment, that's what you're finally getting. What you're saying is that it used to be there was a blank polygonal shape thing kind of just there, and now there is her blank stare actually said 1,000 things. You know what I mean? Like
and there's a couple little things that I picked up in both the games, just as far as the facial rendering, how the artists are dealing with facial. You know, I know that and I'm blanking on the guy who did the presentation for Beyond, but it's like a different type of mocap system. It's more elaborate on the face. It's not. It's not like 8 spots. It looks like there's 24
little things all over her face,
little things. And I think when you get that much of the face rendered, you catch a little eyelid thing.
So you were in Band of Brothers. Were you also involved in the other Spielberg stuff that went along with it? So the early Medal of Honor games were tied in with Band of Brothers and with Saving Private Ryan. Did you voice any of the early Medal of Honor games?
No, we didn't do any of the Medal of Honor games, but like Captain Dale Dye, who was our
he was the consultant.
He was the
so you remember what the characters in that looked like? I mean, it was just
flat,
a flat face.
Exactly.
The mouths didn't even move.
No.
Exactly.
And that's 10 years ago, 12?
Yeah, 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
It was when was Band of Brothers?
Band of Brothers came out in 2000, and we shot it in 2002.
Yeah, so it was around the same time.
Yeah,
so it's come on so far, and we're about to get an even bigger jump. I mean, like the speculation with Watch Dogs is that it's not current gen, that it was. I mean, it was running on a PC with a very good graphics card.
Right.
And so I mean, I think that we're about to see
another jump, right?
Yeah.
And then what does that do to the storytelling point of view? Like, when does game and cinema sort of that?
Well, we had these guys on earlier on today that are doing this thing called Defiance, which is a TV show on sci-fi and a game, and the two things are wound together. And one of the guys was the lead actor, and he's like, so you meet him. Sort of in the narrative arc, you meet this guy that was sat where you are in the game before you do in the show.
Oh, in the game first.
So he's introduced in the game. So when you watch the first episode of the show, you already know who he is.
I love it, dude.
And then it's going to pass backwards and forwards so that events in the TV show, if you're playing kind of at the same time as you're watching, there are things that subtly throw backwards and forwards. So when you arrive in a location in the game, you know because you've played it, you know, what's going on.
Right. I hope that it has a certain amount of. I think that's awesome, and like, hopefully, is the future of combining these two things, you know. And I hope that it's a success because
I feel like in some way, you know, games like Heavy Rain, which you pointed me to, they have the ability to limit the amount of input from other, like the studio and everybody else, because basically what you're saying is you're creating your ending. You're whatever film you want to watch, whatever mood you're in for whatever decision you want to make, whatever exploration you want to have inside of that game. When you go back, and I didn't solve each, you know, I didn't see every ending, but I looked up the clips for each ending on YouTube or Vimeo or whatever the hell. And you saw all the alternate endings, and I remember talking to a writing partner of mine going, holy shit, there's more controversial endings to the game than you could ever do in a movie. People will be up in arms. Oh my God, your lead hero kills himself at the end. You have the possibility of, that was a spoiler alert, I guess. That's kind of old.
Oh, come on. Heavy Rain. If you haven't played it already, that's your fault.
But that type of idea where you're you know.
Yeah,
Controlling
you're
that.
right, and that's the thing. It's still a medium that you can actually surprise people and I think take risks and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, because I think in some ways gamers and stuff expect it or want that and crave that. You know, gamers aren't guys like I wanted a happy ending. You know, I know my wife is pissed if she walks out of a movie and it's not a happy ending. I'm the opposite. And in games you can kind of have. I like when they give that to me. You know, I like when it gets.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah. Or at least, we get the choice, yeah.
So, I have to ask you, because we've only got a few minutes left. Last time I saw you both, you were a lot less hairy.
Yeah.
What's going on with the beards?
You want to go into it?
I don't know.
Sort of had this idea about what would happen if Joaquin Phoenix and Zach Galifianakis were to be on a you know, like best friends, and you call it Joaquin and Zach.
Yeah.
And it's a stage show. You do a little run in New York. So we're starting to get geared up for that. Maybe bringing that to Broadway or something. And,
Basically,
just who has the biggest
the
beard.
two of us on stage beating the crap out of each other. It's like a performance piece.
I'm not Galifianakis. No, there's you started first. You started first, and then I had a job where I had to be clean shaven, and that usually, like Einstein would say, there's an opposite and equal reaction to shaving for me.
So there's a picture of you on IMDb with just a tiny little soul patch.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's weird too because I had to have the beard for Chuck, and then I shaved like every time I would shave once.
Never like this though.
No,
this isn't a Chuck beard.
Chuck, no, it was much cleaner and tighter and all that stuff. High and tight.
Right.
You know.
This is a more Rob Zombie
this is definitely
Morgan.
More. This is way more.
This is
Morgan
Zombie.
But but no, it's weird because you would think that after having it for essentially having to have it for 5 years, I'd be done with it. But I shaved once. I realized how ugly I am, and I go, I'm gonna back to beard.
It's not clearly
true.
your wife is very tolerant of it.
Yes.
She is. She doesn't like it like this. This is too much. But
We're talking about you.
yeah. But
So what's next for you guys?
Well,
anything going on?
Just looking around, man.
Yeah, John.
Job hunting.
Yeah. And we really would love to do something together, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that we could kind of
With the
control in
character-
some way.
I just noticed your badges.
Yeah.
So you are actually, what is it, Hadley?
Hadley
These
Jones
are
and
some of the characters we're trying out here at the show.
Right.
This new guy, his name is Sante Riggins.
That's Sante Riggins, and I'm
yeah.
Hadley Jones.
Give me a little Hadley Jones.
Hello, my name's Hadley Jones.
Yeah.
I've kind of stole that from John. That's how I hear John, even though he
Very proper
does-
English. Hello.
Very proper. Sort of
Chap,
Downtown
how you
Abbey,
doing?
or whatever the hell. Are we
Terribly.
off to Covington Garden?
Terribly nice of you to stop by the booth today, boys.
Yeah, so no, but what do you think? What do you think? There's a future.
There's a future you want to
yeah.
do. We should do something together.
Yeah, we could
should
do
do
something.
something.
What do you think? There could be a
Well,
future
this,
with
I mean,
that.
just this alone has been awesome. Sitting
Yeah.
around talking about games.
Yeah, yeah.
People would watch
I
this.
love sitting around
We
talking
could,
about games.
Would people watch that? Done.
Let's do it. New show
Finished.
confirmed.
That's
Yeah,
it.
new show.
Finished. Done.
New show.
Fantastic.
That's it.
All right,
The
guys.
Brothers Beardman.
Thank you very much for
Dude,
coming
hey,
by.
always,
It's been
Joe.
awesome.
Of course.
So good
Are you
seeing
guys
you,
on
dude.
Twitter? Do you?
He's
do
got
you
Twitter.
tweet?
I
Do? What's your Twitter?
I got to get him on there. Joshua Gomez. Joshua E. Gomez. At Joshua E. Gomez.
And what are you, Rick?
I'm not
not
on
on?
there.
No. Hadley Ramirez.
Hadley Buckenstall
Jones.
Jones.
All right. Well, Josh and Rick Gomez, thank you so much for coming
Thank you,
by.
John.
We'll be back in 5 minutes.